Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Jay the Beast VA. I'm back with another video. As you could tell by the previous videos, I'm back in America, and I wanted to go over something that not a lot of people talk about. We always talk about culture shock, and when we get to a country, how the culture is so much different from what we're used to, especially when we come from a westernized country, such as the United States or England or any of those other countries, and we go over to a country that's less developed than we're used to. And a lot of times people talk about how that culture shock gets to them, or they experience culture shock when they are first going to that country, right? And they aren't really familiar with how things are going. Not a lot of people talk about reverse culture shock. And that is something that I definitely experienced. And that is something that, you know, I could definitely speak to. And I felt it coming back to America from living in Kenya for so long. So let's have that discussion. Twin. So I'm here back in the beautiful Houston, Texas, where I spent so much of my time and life growing up, like between 0 to 17, or 2 to 17, or whatever the case was. Pretty much was around this area, Baytown area, Beaumont area, Port Arthur area. Shout out to Port Arthur, Texas, and all those areas, Beaumont, Texas. Shout out to all of them, and Houston as well, and spent so much time here growing up and pretty much know the city like the back of my hand, right? This is a city where I've experienced so much joy, so much pain, so much suffering, so much wins, so much losses. Experienced so much in this city. I tell people that I became a man in San Diego, but I definitely started to thrive and really come into my own and find my passion here in Houston. So always will be, appreciative of the city, and always will show love to Houston. Like, I'm a real Houstonian, in that, everything Houston I love. Like, I love the Rockets, I love the Texans, I love the Astros, blah, 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 right? I love everything, though. All of the things about Houston I love. Y'all check out the skyline. It just told me that the skyline is not a beautiful skyline. If I can get this off of here. Look at the skyline. Isn't that just a beautiful skyline? Houston is a beautiful, beautiful city with much to do. You have so much great food. You have so much great diversity, so many great cultures. There's so many great opportunities here in the city of Houston, and there's just so much to love and to like about Houston, Texas. And it's not what you would expect, I don't believe. Like, if you never have been to Texas, or experienced Houston, you probably would not expect how great this city is and how much things there are to do here. With that being said, there are some definite things that had me experience the reverse culture shock that I was talking to you all about in the beginning of this video. Okay, so the first thing was I came back to the same languages, the same things that I'm used to, the same systems, the same country that I'm used to. But instead, everything felt louder to me. Everything felt more rushed. Everyone felt a little bit more rude. I got acclimated to the way that Kenyans are, the way that Kenya is, and how the people are. It's more rushed here. It's more tense. It's more disconnected. And it just kind of caught me off guard. Not even kind of, it did catch me off guard. And when I experienced that, no one talks about this, right? No one that I know on the internet. I've never really seen anyone go into this discussion in depth, and they probably have, and you all are probably going to correct me on that, and that's fine. But what I'm saying is, I've never seen someone go into depth about that reverse culture shock, or getting acclimated to a place like Kenya, then coming back to America. Actually, I take that back. I saw, what's his name? What's that guy's name? It's on the tip of my tongue. He's from Ohio. He's also I'm not a travel vlogger, but he's a travel vlogger. Jackson Cooper talks about it. He talked about it some. So shout out to him. He brought it up and he discussed it in depth. I remember he discussed it when he was in Ohio. He came back. I believe he was in South Africa for a long period of time. He did the drone shot of how beautiful Ohio looks. But he also did the drone shot. And what the drone shot showed me was how there was nobody on the streets. When I say nobody, obviously there were people on the streets. But when you experience something like Kenya, where you go to any street, any local community place, and it's filled with people, and all of these people are smiling and engaging and having a good time, and there's no drama, there's no tension, there's none of that. When you go from that, a community-oriented place, and then you come back to America, where I just rode my bike around earlier today after I got out of the gym. I did like maybe 10 miles on the bike. And those 10 miles consisted of me going from kind of like Midtown area, which is a heavily populated area, all the way through downtown, going to Whole Foods, and doing all that, going through downtown. I saw people, but it's just significantly lower than what you would see in Kenya, right? And the people are significantly more tense. Like, I didn't really cut this lady off, but I was turning and she just like honked at me and like threw her hands in the air and was like, and looked really frustrated at me. I'm like, lady, I mean, it's all right. I saw you. I was just trying to make the turn real quick. It's stuff like that. People are just more tense here. They're more, it's just like snap of a finger and people are going to either like want to fight you, curse you out, kill you, whatever the case is. In Kenya, I kid you not, I've ridden many bodas in Kenya, which are motorcycles. I've ridden many cars, Ubers, all of that stuff in Kenya, and you rarely ever see any people get mad about like if somebody cuts you off. And obviously you see it sometimes, but you rarely ever see it. Here in Texas, here in America, it's an everyday occurrence. And a lot of the times, those occurrences that are tense and people cursing at each other turn into somebody getting shot and killed, right? And you feel it. You feel that energy. Like, I felt that from that lady where she was just like cursing at me and stuff. I'm like, okay, lady, sorry. I mean, I don't, like, what do you want me to do? You know what I mean? So, just getting so used to that environment in Kenya and then coming back here is just, you don't know what you don't know too. So I can understand an American looking at this video right now and hearing me talk and saying, what the hell are you talking about? You don't know what you don't know. If you've never been to these type of environments where people engage with you in the nature that they engage with you in Kenya, then you don't know what I'm talking about. You think I'm just talking out the side of my neck, figure of speech, and you think, I'm just talking. But in reality, it's something that Jackson Cooper talked about, my guy Austin talked about, and a couple other people talked about, but not like in depth, specifically about reverse culture shock. But they definitely had a discussion about it. My boy Bobby talked about this as well. I remember he was in New York. My guy Bobby was in New York. My guy Bobby, I'm trying to think of the name of his channel, but Bobby was in New York, right? And what is the name of Bobby's channel? Y'all know the name. Can y'all drop the name of Bobby's channel? I can't think of it. But I know Bobby in real life. He's a good dude. And I remember I was watching his vlog. He was in Nairobi, I believe, and then he went over to New York, and then he just experienced all of this tension that I'm telling you about. And it's not something that is just going to happen to you or going to happen to me. It's something that's a normal occurrence, if that makes sense. It's something that if you talk to anyone that is from America, we experience this on a day-to-day basis, especially being a black man like myself with a bunch of tattoos. And people automatically judge me and think that I'm some type of criminal or gangbanger or something like that. So yeah, I mean, did anything happen when the lady was cursing at me? No. But it's just that tension that you feel when you're back in America that is so much different than in Kenya, and it makes me miss Kenya tremendously. another thing that I really understand too now is I am completely changed as an individual, and that time that I spent in Kenya, like I talked to you all before about, I'm indebted to Kenya because Kenya has taught me so much about myself. Kenya has given me so much more character, so much more depth to my personality, so much more intellect, so much more of so many things. And I'm indebted to Kenya because of that. And now that I come back here, I'm not the same individual who I was before. Now that I'm not that same individual, the expectation that people have on me are not going to be very they're not going to be the same, right? I just moved completely differently. I went to a hookah lounge on Friday, I believe. I went dolo, nobody with me. Just went and hung out, sat at the bar, sat outside, and had some lamb chops and smoked a little bit of shisha because I haven't smoked shisha in over a month. I figure if I do it twice a month, I know it's not good for you guys, but I figure if I do it twice a month, one day, that's okay, right? I'm trying to wean off of it too. I did it entirely too much in Nairobi, where I was doing it 2-3 times a week sometimes, and you just don't want to do something that you know is not good for you that many times a week, because those start to add up over time. But anyways, I went to this bar that I used to frequent a lot with friends, and just the way that people were acting and the things that they were doing, the movements that they were making, they had one guy, to tell y'all this quick story, one guy, old dude, maybe 40, 50, his car had like some 26s on it. It was like a Monte Carlo. It was clean. The rims were clean and everything. And he had probably, like, I would say he either had 215s in his trunk or he had 412s. Because it was knocking. Like, it was knocking. Like, you could hear it very loudly. What he decided to do was park his vehicle right in front of the restaurant and then walk back into the restaurant. So his vehicle is sitting there running with this loud ass music. I'm like, what is the meaning of this? Sir, you old as hell. Like, what? Why are you trying to floss? Like, why are you trying to floss with your vehicle right now? I mean, like, you at least 55. It's just stuff like that, man, where you feel the tension. Like, even when I was in that lounge, although I had a discussion with a couple of people, I talked to some women, you know, like, hey, how you doing? How's it going? I had a conversation with the waitress. I had, you know, some conversations with people, because, like, if I don't, that's weird, right? I'm just sitting there staring at everybody. So I had casual conversation with a bunch of different people, but you just feel the tension, like people looking at you weird. And like I said, if you never experienced the experience that I've been through as far as living in Kenya, living in a foreign country, it's going to be very difficult for you to understand what I'm saying. But those who have, because, and even, that's not even the case, because a lot of people that live in other countries, y'all don't really experience other countries the way that I experience Kenya. Meaning, y'all not going to ingratiate or just completely put yourself in their culture the way that I did, or the way that most of my friends in Kenya do. Meaning, you're not going to have like Kenyan friends, you're not going to live in a Kenyan neighborhood, you're not going to go do Kenyan things. You're going to try to create an environment in which it's so much similar to America that you're as comfortable as possible. But myself, my goal is to learn, right? If you're not learning, then you're not advancing in your life, and that's my goal, is to learn. So I want to put myself in environments and around people that are completely different than I'm used to. I want to challenge myself in that way and figure out how I can maneuver and really be successful in that environment, right? So that's what I do, and that's what I did in Kenya. And if you don't do that, then you're not going to know what I'm speaking of. So those type of environments and those type of things are just so shocking to me now. Not necessarily shocking in that I haven't seen them before, but just the feeling of it. You know what I mean? The feeling of it is a little bit uncomfortable for me, and I'm like, why am I dealing with this? For the record, if I didn't have children, I wouldn't be dealing with this. I'm solely here. I solely have houses in Houston because I still have children, right? And I have to take care of them, and I have to be there for them present. My choice would be to not be in America at all. Not taking away anything from America. And Kenyans out there, I don't want y'all to take this and not travel to America, because that would be just like me taking what the white man on MSNBC was saying and not going to your country. You have to experience things for yourself. You have to learn and grow for yourself. You can't take what I'm saying and just completely veer away from America, because America has beautiful things. Like I just showed you, the skyline is beautiful. There's so many beautiful things about America. There's also some really, really negative things that just cause it to not be ideal for me. But I believe that every Kenyan out there, I want you to at least try to go to America, or try to go to some Western country, just to experience it. Just go for a month, and I guarantee that you will not regret it. One thing about, I spent a lot of money in my life, even over the last year, and one thing about spending money is I've never regretted traveling. I really haven't. I've always gotten so much more value out of traveling than the money that I spent on it, because money comes and goes. Like I could make a large amount of money in a small amount of time if I want to, and then spend it and then do it again. That's just how I am. Like, I've always been a hustler, so I've always understood that, you know, money comes and goes, but the experiences that you have with people, the experiences that you have in life are going to change who you are in general. Like, they're going to change you, and you're going to become a better person because of it. So my kings out there, don't be discouraged about all of the social media stuff, or the media in general talking about all the violence that goes on in America, or me talking about the violence that goes on in America. Yes, it does go on, but America has some other things that you could experience and you could love here as well. I wouldn't really recommend going. I don't know. What y'all think? My Americans out there, what y'all think? Y'all think we should recommend them go to America, or come to America, or should we recommend them to go somewhere like Britain or like United Kingdom? But United Kingdom is dangerous too. I don't know, y'all. What do y'all think out there, my Americans, my English people? What do y'all think? Should we recommend them to start going to other countries other than our countries? Because I don't want to steer them in the wrong direction either, right? You spend all this money to get this visa, and then you get here and, you know, it's not all it's cracked up to be. Which, I could think of a lot of different places I would rather be, to be honest. Just me in general. But also, y'all have to understand that I want them to have the opportunities too. How do we give them a country they can go to that will open up doors for them as far as opportunities? And anyone, you know, anyone on the continent, how do we give them another country? Or what country do y'all think would be the best for me to recommend to them, or to y'all to recommend to them? Drop it in the comments, let me know. I'm really starting to think about this now. Like, I don't know if I should be recommending people to come here because of the price. Man, the prices are ridiculous. I just spent like $200 on groceries yesterday. I'm like, bro, what's going, like, where's all this money going? $200 is like 24,000 shillings. I spent that on groceries like that was nothing. And that's like a week worth of, I'm like, it's like a week worth of groceries. And I'm just like, in Kenya, and I can't help but like compare it to Kenya. I'm like, in Kenya, this will be half the price and the food would be better. So I don't know, man. I don't know if I should be recommending y'all come here, but I just want y'all to experience everything you can in life, and just try to grow within yourself, and open up your mind, open up your ideals and everything to the most that you can. There's great things about America, but there's also some challenging things. Another thing I noticed, y'all gonna like this one. Another thing I've noticed is, you know how y'all used to tell me all the time, Jared, you need to be careful on CBD. Jared, CBD is dangerous. You remember all that? So the feeling that I feel in CBD, and I do have a vigilant feeling that I need to be vigilant in CBD, obviously, because I'm not dumb. So I understand that I need to be vigilant in CBD. Multiply that vigilance by 2 in Houston. And that's how vigilant I feel. I feel like I need to have a weapon on me at all times in Houston. In CBD, I'm like, yeah, I need to understand where my phone is. I do not feel like I need to have a weapon, and I never felt the need for a weapon in Kenya, period. So you know, kind of put that in your brain and let it sink. You learn the patterns, like, of people. You learned how people are. You learned where to go in Kenya. I learned all of these things, how to be in certain areas. And I just did not feel the need to have any type of weapons on me, I didn't feel the need to be as vigilant as I feel here. Here, it feels as if, and I ride a bike, like y'all saw my electric bike, which is a wonderful idea that I came up with, which was, forget the motorcycles for now, let's get an electric bike, let's ride around the downtown area, because I live near downtown and I can get to everything I can get to, and I don't spend any gas. So it's a wonderful idea I came up with. I also have cars, but, you know, whatever, I don't drive them as much. But I'm riding this bike around, and some of these areas are kind of rough and tough, like, you know, they look a little shady, you know what I'm saying? So that vigilance has been really, really brought up a notch for me in Houston compared to Nairobi. I know that's going to be like, oh my goodness, what are you saying? I mean, I'm just telling you from my experience. And yeah, it's anecdotal, but if you go to other people, like I said, Jackson Cooper, if you go to my dog Austin Holloman, if you go watch their videos, and when they went back to America, they're going to be saying the same things that I'm saying, just in a different way, right? So my dog Bobby. But yeah, definitely felt the need to be more vigilant. If you lived abroad, or you felt this type of thing, there's nothing wrong with you. You just learned some things. You learned different things. You've experienced so much growth in the small amount of time that you came back to your country, and now you just feel differently. So nothing's wrong with you. You've expanded. It takes time to find that rhythm that you had back, right, in America or any other country. So don't feel discouraged by it. Don't feel, you know, like something's wrong with you. You'll be all right. Yeah, so if you resonated with this, or if you found this interesting, or if you enjoyed the conversation, I'd appreciate y'all engaging with me and dropping a comment or a like or whatever you want to do. Y'all know I will come back to y'all with some more conversations and some more things. Let me know what y'all want to see me do. Do y'all want to see more bike videos? Do y'all like those? Or, you know, what's the vibes? What y'all like? I'll bring up some more ABA topics as well. I just don't want to bombard y'all with the ABA stuff, as I know is super specific. I want to keep this channel engaging and interesting for my viewers, and hopefully we can make a change together, and we can continue to lighten up things for people in their lives. I appreciate y'all. If it wasn't for y'all, I wouldn't be here. If it wasn't for y'all, I wouldn't be doing these vlogs. If it wasn't for y'all, you know, there's so many things I appreciate you all for, and I'm gracious for you all for. You've all taught me so much through the time that we've been together, and you've been watching me and engaging with me and everything. So thank you for that. Even thank you for the criticism. I appreciate that as well, because without criticism, you know, some of y'all criticism is unnecessary, but some of it's really, really good. But anyways, I'm going to go watch the Houston Texans now. Like I told you, I love Houston. Football, American football, not football. But anyways, I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.